Everyone just worked so hard and took it so seriously. And granted, there was lots of laughing and a lot of making fun of each other, but
coming together was the greatest memory.
Yeah.
You know, we were all tapping and stomping and clapping in tune. Oh, the thrill of that.
I give you the Umbrella Academy.
it was awesome. I think my first scene was with you and Robert.
No kidding.
And it was like post-funeral. And it was like we were all in the kids' lounge area. And it was like after Diego and Luther had their big brawl and everyone's kind of like going their own ways, realizing that, you know, even though they've been apart for so long, it was like, man, we're still these kids that can't, you know, don't have their stuff together. So I think that was my first day on set, but I think we'd done like a cast dinner. Like we'd all hung out and we'd had a lot of rehearsals. Peter Hoare, who directed our pilot episode, was incredible and wanted to make sure that we had this like incredible family bond and vibe and that it felt real and authentic. And so, yeah, we all started hanging out and there was lots of karaoke involved. Before we started filming, Peter was a big karaokeer and so was Tom, turns out. So we'd hung out a couple times before we'd started shooting.
My first day on set of season 1 Umbrella Academy, they said to me, now, quick, dance like no one's watching. All right, action, off you go.
Yeah, that's right. Your very first scene was the dancing.
Was the dancing, yeah. So I was in the kind of the little mess hall basement of the academy and I was getting very intimate with our father's urn of ashes.
Yeah.
And I was sort of just dancing around the kitchen and trying not to feel shy.
The very first scene that we shot was the very final scene of the pilot.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic to work with Aidan right away, who
likewise,
was incredible in the scene, and so that was how it all got started.
I remember very clearly the first day we all met because it was like we went and did like this little rehearsal read-through thing and played around together. And I just remember thinking at the time when I saw everyone playing their characters for the first time, I was like, oh man, this is pretty special. This, you know, because everyone was so unique and everyone was bringing their A game and everyone felt so right for their characters. Everyone was so well cast, and I just had a huge feeling of excitement, actually, of what was to come.
I remember that being a very nerve-wracking day. I wonder what was like chronologically the first actual frame that
I think it was you
shot for the show.
guys.
Really?
I think
Yeah,
it was you
it was
guys.
that
The first
scene.
shot was the last
shucks.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah.
My first day on set, we were in a fire, or I was in a fire escape, and I think Robbie was in a dumpster.
Oh, yeah.
And you were eating like 32 bagels, I remember that day. You were spitting them out.
Oh man, yeah.
Pretending to look for a bagel.
Yeah. And Aidan was there, and it was a quick little scene, but it was so fun, and it was just my first time seeing both Robbie and Aidan in character, and it was incredible.
Oh.
Yeah. My first day on set, it was a twofer. So I got to see Elliot and Five, or Aidan, do the last scene of the episode, which is we have 9 days till the end of the world. And I remember watching that and thinking, oh, they're shooting the ending of this because if it doesn't work, they're gonna fire someone. and because usually in my mind, that's how I would think also if I'm some creative of being like, okay, we need to make sure that we nail the ending before we even start. And then because it was on the same day, I had to do my fight scene as soon as they finished that scene. And I thought, oh, if I can't fight, I'm gonna get fired. Because they need to make sure that I can fight. And so I was very nerve-wracked, you know. And Gerard Way, Gabriel Ba were there, and after we did the first take, they stood up and clapped, and I knew.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Sarcastically, or?
I did clap. You're done.
Is that my skirt?
Oh, yeah, this. It's very breathy on the bits.
It was mostly work for you all because a lot of my stuff was green screen.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of that violent stuff. So you all were working like really
Yeah, I mean, we had
long
pretty
nights in
intense.
that period, I feel
Our
like.
stunt coordinator and our fight coordinator were incredible, and we got to spend a lot of time in the dojo preparing for all of our fights, but that one in particular, because it was a long time coming and kind of building up to that moment. But those days for me are always stressful. I think I just make it stressful for no reason, but it's you also you don't want to accidentally hit anybody, and you want to it's very much like a dance. It's very choreographed, and there's a lot of moving parts in our show. There's so many cameras, and there's cameras on cranes and cameras on steady cams and cameras on dollies, and there's so many people that like help make this show. And so you don't want to mess up too many times because it's a lot of people making the whole operation come together. But those days, it's always so fun because you shoot big sequences like that in tiny little fragmented parts. So to then watch it back and see it all come together as one huge fight sequence is always so incredible to me. So it's always a wild ride getting to do like big action sequences like that.
I just had a baby. Well, my wife had just had a baby. I just got back from
Truly.
So that was a bit of a whirlwind when I just got back to shoot that scene.
Oh yeah, you've
like,
flown away and come back.
Yeah, flew at the end of the bowling alley scene. We quickly shot, and they got me out that night because Laura was going in to have the baby the next day.
Yeah, I remember that.
Crazy.
Wow.
So then I flew back, and so that was my memory of that, like being in a crazy whirlwind.
I did take violin lessons. I was not good.
Okay, you got very, very good at Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Okay.
Wow, you learned that? That's amazing.
So yes, it was definitely just doing my best to make it seem like I knew how to play, and also I had an incredible double. But fun to film, and the whole final moment, you all coming on the stage, and that whole ending, and everyone holding hands in the circle, all of that I thought worked so beautifully, and I found it very moving.
We shot in Toronto Concert Hall. Beautiful, gorgeous.
Amazing theatre, yeah.
Theatre, yeah, downtown. And that was a real trip. It felt like a field trip back to civilization to be filming after 6 months of mostly being in the studio out of town. Suddenly we were in the centre of town. We were on Yonge Street, and the novelty of that was very thrilling for me.
Yeah.
And I just remember crouching, a lot of crouching behind velvet seats. And loads of squibs going off. And
Yeah, those remember all the guns. There was so many guns.
Loads
So
of
many
guns,
gunfire.
yeah.
Yeah. And we were supposed to pick up the guns. You guys were supposed to
Well, we
pick up the
did.
guns.
We shot a bit where
But that got cut out.
it got cut. Yeah, where we like took out a bunch of those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Because then
Do you remember you as well? You appear and then you take out a load of the guys as opposed to Ben.
With their tenties.
That was the first time I unleashed the tentacles.
The tenties,
But then I was wearing these like cow udders that were green.
and his shimmy was the
Lactic.
best.
And-
His
and,
shimmy
He
was.
shimmy, had to shimmy.
Okay, it was not a shimmy. It was an intense growl.
Yeah. With like loose wrists, you know.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Sort of other utensils.
God, it's him. Ben.
Oh, and that's also when Mary J. Blige was all coming after us outside
Oh yeah.
the concert
Yeah,
hall.
we had a fight. Yeah, we had a fight with Mary J.
Sounds like a bad dream, doesn't it? Mary J. Blige is coming after him.
Bizarre dream. Yeah.
Reservation for Hazel and Cha-Cha.
I don't know anything about
I know everything. You are an open book written for very dumb children.
My first day on set was in the insane asylum with David. That was really, really cool. I remember I really wanted to use a prop of these cigarettes, and they were like, no, we can't, we don't want to like promote this, and also like the brand. And I was like, well, what if I'll just hold it so you can't see the brand. And they were like, why does she keep insisting on this? Like, we've said no. And I was like, please. And then
made a choice.
Yes, I had a choice. I was like, it's my comfort blanket. So I remember that being a thing, and they were like, all right, fine. She really wants this thing. But yeah, it was so much fun. And then even before that, I met all the cast. We did like a walk around the set, and everyone was just so like loving and kind. It was it wasn't like I wasn't expecting that, but it was a surprise. I was like, oh my God, these people are so down to earth, and they've just had this hugely successful season 1. And I'm like just this newbie coming in. It just felt like they greeted me with so much love, and it just felt so welcomed, you know?
It was lovely. It was game, you know. Anything that I wanted to try, she was willing to try, and anything she wanted to try, I was more than willing to try. And so it was just an excellent addition to like the zonkiness of all the family. And I don't think we knew that she was going to be one of the siblings, right? That was a big thing, because the reveal at the end was like, oh, she's one of the siblings, and they're like, oh, we slept together? You know, and that was going to be a massive joke in it, yeah.
It was awesome. It weirdly felt like she'd always been there. Like she just slotted right into the chaos that, you know, that is the show and the world that it is. And I remember I met you, it was like the production offices, and we were all gathering to go do a tour of all the new sets for the season. And I was like, oh, she's so sweet. You were so nice. So it was just very effortless and easy, and you were just so on board to take part in this wacky show and just fit right in. It was easy, so easy.
I heard a rumor. You stopped breathing.
Have you showered? Ow, 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 ow.
I mean, I feel like Klaus is like, that's pretty epic to become a cult leader. I mean, it's insane, but I think that's why. I mean, I personally enjoyed Allison's storyline and getting to, you know, experience the civil rights movement and through her as a character and just as an actor. So I really enjoyed that and felt very honored to be able to take that on. But I think in the world of fantasticalness, I think Klaus's journey is bananas.
Klaus as a cult leader, I thought was very clever.
Yeah, that was really funny.
I really enjoyed that.
I love watching Robert as the cult leader.
And using song lyrics. It was the song
as a way.
Was using
Gloria
for
Gaynor
wisdom.
and stuff.
That's incredible.
Disco diva Gloria Gaynor.
Yeah.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Any nuggets of wisdom that you can give to me?
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Steve and I might wrestle about this later on, but that was kind of my idea when the first series ended. I was like, Klaus, we're going back to the 60s. He should start a cult, definitely. The fact that the rest of it was him, but the rest of it picking up when the cult had begun, and Klaus was now trying to desperately escape the cult, and then you being the voice of conscience, the kind of ghost Jiminy Cricket going, let these people go, release these people back to their lives, for God's sake.
Remember when I told you the engine was overheating?
Yeah, well, being smart doesn't make you interesting.
Neither does your beard.
Then we'll have to settle this the old-fashioned way.
Agreed.
Coming together was the greatest memory.
Yeah.
We were all tapping and stomping and clapping in tune. Oh, the thrill of that.
It was incredible. I mean, I love when two of my universes kind of collide, and I think it really brought me back to my theater roots and being in rehearsals and learning new dance steps. But I also, more than anything, I was so proud of everybody. Like, so many of people in this cast are not dancers or have never done anything like that, and certainly not, you know, on camera. And so everyone just worked so hard and took it so seriously. And granted, there was lots of laughing and a lot of making fun of each other. But at the end of the day, the end result was so incredible, and I'm so glad that I got to watch, you know, everyone's kind of journey move through, you know, considering themselves a non-dancer to being in a fully produced and televised dance battle.
It really was so fun, and I can't pick stuff like that up quickly. I'm not like quick to pick up choreo by any means, you know. So it was fun to be challenged and ultimately to, be able to do something like that in the end. And it was, really fun.
Actually did it as a full group. Sparrows versus Umbrellas was when we were in costume on set about to shoot the thing.
Yeah.
So,
and they gave the sparrows the most bondagey, leathery.
Yeah, they look so much better than us.
Inflexible
Oh, they're onesie. They're onesie.
Costumes for dancing, the poor old sausages.
No. We were in just the suits for the dancing part.
Yeah, you were in the
Yeah, you
costume.
were in the spandex.
Yeah, we were in the spandex
uniforms.
when we meet you guys at hotel.
Yeah, when Jen was in the spandex, it was like trying to move a wooden doll.
Yeah. She couldn't even sit down.
She was so tight in that thing. She was just like a mannequin.
Yeah.
So I used to move her around. Like,
He's like,
lift her up and put
it's
her on
like
the
just so
sofa.
I like him. Come here, mannequin.
You know, I'll just say that every day on production is it's sort of a cold open of its own, and starting days off or having a little break halfway through to go off and do dance rehearsal is a great way to warm up as a cast and get loose. So that was a very enjoyable part of production. And we all were like wearing masks and face shields because it was the heat of COVID. So it's like breathing heavily. We're definitely getting a lot of cardio in.
You know what? That was like a hard time for me because I had massive FOMO. And also it was like COVID. And so I was like locked up in the house, and I had to come to production like the same time as everyone else whilst they were rehearsing. So it was like, that was a lot for me. I had to like be in the house for like 6-7 weeks whilst they were all having fun dancing. I was like, this show sucks. And then I was involved and I was like, okay, I like everyone again. But yeah, it was so dope watching it. It was like so funny. It's definitely one of the highlights, I think, for me for season 3.
Well, we made some friends along the way.
Incorrect. You know what we've done? Nothing. We made things worse every single time.
When we all danced, that was so fun.
I know.
Oh, your character laughed. Yeah,
I walked out.
Sorry, your character has just walked out. Yeah.
But you guys rocked it. I like Ritu was jealous. I was like, man, now I have to sit out while everyone gets to dance and have fun.
Yeah.
It was like a 5-day wedding, wasn't it? It was like we just got to party and have fun and goof around and play games.
It actually felt like a family wedding because it was like 6 night shoots. So, and it was in this incredible like hall, like this incredible location. It was COVID, so we weren't going out otherwise, really. And so we all just got to like party with each other and like, I don't know, just dance. Yeah, it was just goofing around, playing games, playing heads up a lot, making dance routines of Spice Girls. It was just like
taking photos of each other sleeping.
Yeah.
It was. I remember Justin made the decision to like eat some shrimp cocktail during the scene, and so for 6 days he had to eat shrimp cocktail. And by day 6 he was so disgusted, and like probably still doesn't eat shrimp cocktail. I was like, well, that's why I chose to just drink during the wedding.
Yeah.
Despite what we were told, nibble at the buffet.
We just chowed down. Me and Jen like smashed a whole rack of lamb, and it was amazing lamb.
The first night was amazing lamb.
In fact, she tries to ask me for some lamb, and I'm like no.
I think but what's crazy, by the third night it was the same food. So by the third night, that food was a little rancid, you know.
Oh yeah.
The deviled eggs.
Yeah, the devil.
I was vegan at the time, so I was having the vegan shrimp cocktail. That was not good. It tasted like Play-Doh. Like, it was bad.
I had about 42 shrimp cocktails.
Yeah, me too. I ate loads of shrimp.
Did you try that vegan shrimp?
Oh, yeah.
It was a vegan shrimp that was horrendous.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Who was that for? That was for one of the... Was that for Ritu?
Maybe
No.
for Aidan. Gallagher.
Aidan.
Yeah, was he eating?
Aidan's vegan.
I liked being your reverend. I loved being your the minister of your
ceremony.
wedding. That really choked me up. I'm a real softie for weddings. And for the position of the minister marrying you two, it was like, it was beautiful. It was really touching.
I'm immortal now.
I wouldn't miss what's coming for the world.
I loved the scene when we're in the keepers meeting. It's like it was so fun watching Nick and Megan do the speech. We're all sitting there. It's like, it's such an oddball group of people, and we're in this weird like underground speakeasy, and they're just like just riffing off each other. I remember like Megan just constantly just like covering Nick's face, like say her wild speech. It was so funny.
It was great having them there. We were saying this earlier, that it's just a shame we didn't get to do many scenes with them and actually like get to play off each other, because they're so great, you know, and so talented and brilliant actors.
I personally had one scene with them and I was unconscious, so.
Lovely.
So they were a joy to work with. The chemistry was mwah, chef's kiss. But they as humans are incredible. I'm actually quite bummed that I didn't get to just I don't know, have my eyes open when I got to work with them.
I thought that we'd get to work with them more.
I know.
We got undersold that. Oversold that, sorry.
We were all a bit thrilled and a bit giddy around them, I think, or at least I was when we first met them. We were like, oh, so what's going? How are you? To being all kind of fangirlish around them. Yeah, but I would have liked to have done more with them. You did a bit, did you, Justin?
I did, yeah. I mean, they were just hilarious. I mean, they have so much chemistry together as a couple, and they were improvising. They felt like they were a part of the cast from day one. They felt so easy, so it was just such a joy.
Regularly collapse into French kissing.
Yeah. It was. We had to separate them at some point.
Yeah, it was too much.
Too much chemistry.
Too much chemistry.
God, what a bunch of losers.
Rebecca, out the way. Out the way. Out the way. Get in!
I'm going in the front!
Oh God.
The flip.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, that was so. Of course, you would love that. You love that kind of thing.
Well, we were in Wanda, who at some point had no windows, had no heater.
Oh, yeah.
And we were in Canada in the middle of winter, so it's snowing outside. We're all freezing our tails off. So a lot of our time spent in Wanda was not very pleasant. So the flip, when Wanda turned into a roller coaster, was actually really fun. Maybe not for Tom because he was squished in the back, but the rest of us were.
But they were like, we're going to do this 3 times, guys, don't worry. Huh?
Tom was sat like to the side, so he was doing backwards.
He got properly sick. Yeah.
But they were like, we're going to do this 3 times max, and we were like, oh, okay, fun. And then they ended up spinning it the wrong way.
Many
like
times.
several times. Like they were like told, no guys, it's like clockwise, you're doing it anti-clockwise. They're like, sorry. And we're like, it's okay. And then they would do it again.
So we went around
over like 4 times. They got it, and I was like, fine, this is fun. But Tom was getting really nauseous. Bless him.
I know my best, but I was.
The tumbling van was hilarious, right?
Yeah.
Not to laugh at other people's misfortune, but looking at poor Tom in the back.
So I was going round. So everyone else was
funny.
going round like this. So you can.
It was tumbling.
Whereas I was going round like this. So I was like in a tumble dryer, and I was really struggling in the back of that van. And even more annoyingly, in the footage, you can't hardly see me. You can't see me.
You can't see any of us. You can only see you and Aidan.
You and Aidan front. Yeah.
No one else.
And Aidan's amazing hair. Just doing this.
Swooshing around.
And then, driving around listening to... Well, it was actually Daddy Finger. Not Baby Shark when we were shooting.
And the whole thing was it was giddily nauseating, because when we weren't being tumbled in the van, we were in the real van called Wanda, which was coughing out toxic ancient diesel fumes, not out of the van as typically happens, but somehow
up into
the
it.
van, like them real old vehicles, and in it for hours at a time. And the only thing between us and hypothermia and death was the engine staying on. So it was a sort of
Catch-22.
It was a sort of a fast death or a slow death, essentially.
And opening that door,
Yeah, the door never opened.
The door never opened.
Oh yeah, we had so much fun with the door.
Especially if you've got numb fingers, you're trying to grasp hold of something, and you can't feel where your fingers start and the van starts. Yeah. So it's all, listen, kids.
Good old Wanda.
Before you jump all boisterously into an acting career, right? Just read between the lines and know there's a lot of hardship, a lot of misery, right? A lot of impact on your blood circulation and your respiratory system, all right?
That was
exhilarating.
And smile.
No. Heavy.
The last sort of goodbye scene type was not the last day, sort of technicality. It was only because my last day was being in the coffin, buried alive, and shooting it 60 ways to Sunday. So it was in that coffin with a little Zippo burning the fingers off myself, which I kind of enjoyed. It was completely exhausting, but enjoyed it nonetheless. It had a good cry and a good wail, which is always nice and therapeutic. And that happened maybe a day or two after
the last
our big druidic circle goodbye scene. Yeah. Yeah, but that was emotional, wasn't it? It was almost like us as actors / us as characters saying farewell to each other in this beautiful ceremonial circle, you know? This paganistic expression of togetherness. It felt really nice while we're being consumed by a big giant pan-dimensional slime mold thing.
Well, I think that last sequence took about 3 days for us to shoot, so it was kind of this elongated goodbye. And so for almost 3 full days, we were all just it felt like this never-ending goodbye. And I personally am a fan of an Irish exit, so having to say goodbye for 72 hours was quite exhausting. But you know, it's more than just goodbye to the show. It's goodbye to these actors and our crew in Toronto and all of the hundreds of people that have helped us make this show for you know, almost 7 years now, and it just is a true end of an era and an end to this chapter. And so it was hard. It was bittersweet to know that we got to actually have a proper ending and say goodbye to these characters and tie these storylines up in a bow, but also, you know, just devastating to say goodbye to this thing that we've all grown so fond of and have formed incredible relationships making.
Just being surrounded by the crew, because I did pickups in the mall, and it was kind of nice. I was trying to get away from everyone because I knew they were going to do that's a wrap on David, so I just tried to sneak out, and they dragged me back in. And by that point, I just had to give a speech.
I mean, yeah, we all had to give speeches.
We all gave speeches, and it was really nice to sort of, at that moment, just have a vulnerable moment with the whole crew that we had worked with. Most of them we'd worked with for like over half a decade, and just express the gratitude and understanding that, you know, I don't know if we'll have this moment again, but you know, it was very special and very grateful.
Just the sensation of not playing the Victor anymore, of not getting to go back to work with all these wonderful people, incredible cast and crew that we've worked together for years and years. It's definitely, a sad feeling.
I was the moldy slime that they were referring to, so I wasn't there the final day. My final day was actually just a pickup of my hands pouring sake into glasses. Slightly anticlimactic, but in a way I was very grateful because I got to sort of process and have my own sort of internal moment to wrap up the show. I feel like if I was in that big final group scene, I would have been too emotional, so it was nice to just kind of be by myself and say goodbye on my own terms.
I was very emotional on and off camera. It was hard, yeah, and it is. It's something so comforting knowing that you're coming back the next year to get to hang out with your family. That's what happens, you know. Like, we've grown very attached to each other from all these years of getting to work together. So yeah, it's very bittersweet.
You know, it's so sporadic that you don't really have time to process that last day feeling. You just, I mean, I was saying earlier that we had like this pizza truck for the crew, and we were all sat around smashing pizza.
The pizza truck.
Yeah, and then I remember just people, as they were finishing, as they were wrapping, someone finished their pickups for the whole shoot. They finished theirs, and then people just in dribs and drabs started going. And I remember saying goodbye to people I was seeing them and being like, "Oh man, see you later." And it was all kind of like, "Oh wow, that's it." But I didn't really hit me until, because my wife said, "Oh, how do you feel when I left?" And I was like, I don't think it's really hit me yet, to be honest. I don't think it'll hit me until the show is out, and I think, you know, we've got a premiere coming up for the final season and stuff. I think when we're in the room for the last time together, having ended a couple of shows with big groups, I realised from experience that you don't ever all be in the same room again, very rarely. So it's very likely that premiere will be the last time we're all in the room together. So
let's remake that circle at the premiere.
I think we should get a photo.
On the red carpet.
Yeah, add him in.
From the top.
Well, he is there.
No,
he is there as the goop. He was there as the goop.
You can be there in human
I'll
form.
put you in jelly.
Yeah. Is your premiere outfit just like
It's
a
just
big load of goop?
goop.
That'd be
Yep,
the thing.
it's just goop.
Great.
It's just a big train of goop coming out the back of you.
It's just goop.